So Russell Crowe writes, directs, and stars in this Australian crime thriller, but that's really where all the positives end. So Poker Face is a brand new Australian film. It just got released on Stan a couple of days ago. I think it's come out overseas, maybe in the cinemas and a couple of other things, like it's a Sky original over in like fucking England or something. I don't know why a Stan exclusive, like Stan is one of our streaming platforms here. I don't know why it's being billed as a Stan original if it's been released elsewhere in the world like weeks before it's come out here. It's a very strange move from Stan. I don't know if maybe they bought the rights to it afterwards because nobody else wanted to pick it up. I don't know. But here we are. We've got an Australian film starring Russell Crowe and Liam Hemsworth and a few other Australian actors who you would recognise if you've watched, you know, any kind of Australian media in the last 20 years, like fucking, you know, TV shows and films and stuff. There's a lot of familiar faces in here, but the two that are probably most well known to the more general population around the world is going to be Russell Crowe and Liam Hemsworth. So the story follows Jake Foley. He's a tech billionaire. Basically, he came up with an app idea or like a web program or something. He came up with some sort of program. Basically went from being for like consumers, for like the general population, and then the military realized like, hey, we could turn this into a more weaponized military program, and so they bought it off him for shitloads of money. The dude is rich as, fucking gambles all day, makes his money like that, and he brings his friends, his childhood friends over for a game of poker. Over the course of the game, a few truths and a few lies get uncovered surrounding his friends, and some thieves break into the home where the poker is being played. That all gets explained a little bit as you watch the film, so it's not just a random break-in, there is a reason for the break-in. But that's essentially our story. You have this guy who is bringing together his friends for a high-stakes poker game with a little bit below the surface, and then you have a break-in and it turns into a little bit of a thriller, kind of like Panic Room style thriller. This movie is not good. Straight off the bat, this film fucking sucks. And I think there's two reasons why this film sucks. One, the marketing for it is terrible. The marketing for this makes it seem like it's just a poker game. The entire film is literally just a poker game from start to finish. It's only 90 minutes long. Like, this film is really short. Then the other problem is the film just tries to be too many things. It tries to be a really arty, out there sort of drama at the start. So like the first half an hour is very weird and like very trippy. There's like a drug trip sequence. There's lots of like artsy fartsy shots and lots of very, you know, art school type things going on. Then it turns into a little bit of a friendship comedy when the friends all get together and they're playing a bit of poker. It's all a little bit of fun. Everyone's sharing stories and drinking beers. And then it turns into a home invasion. It takes three different styles of film, pushes them all together, and honestly just makes it even worse because of it. I think that there was a good idea here, and it's just that it's like, fuck man, what have you guys done? Honestly, the writing is really poor. A lot of the dialogue between characters is literally just swearing. I mean, yes, here in Australia, we drop F-bombs like crazy. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I'm dropping a fuck and a shit and a this and a that throughout all my videos. Like, I don't care. But when you see it in an Australian film, you do realize that our vocabulary is actually pretty limited here in Australia. And when it's so heavy-handed in a film, it really takes you out of it. You're like, did that really need the F word? Did that really need the C word? Do these people not know any other words? Is it honestly just swearing the whole time? This film is really supposed to be more of a character study of Jake Foley, so Russell Crowe's character, because it's revealed to us relatively early on in the film that he's suffering a terminal illness. So he's got like pancreatic cancer or something like that, and he's dying. The idea of what he's trying to do is he's trying to make the people around him feel how he's feeling. Now, that's not like a bad idea. That could actually be quite terrifying if this guy, who is super powerful and whatever, he wants to bring people together and make them feel his pain. That could be an interesting film, but that's really not what the movie goes for. The opening to the poker game, so literally prior to the poker game, it's like 35 minutes, no poker game. Poker game starts, goes for like 10 minutes, and then it's home invasion. And the home invasion is really fucking boring. Like, they sit in a panic room for about 15 minutes. Then they go out and try and stop the robbers. And I'm like, where's the movie? Like, you could have literally made this film 15 minutes long. You could have made this a short and nothing would have changed. This movie, unfortunately, is really pointless, and it kind of sucks because I love Russell Crowe. And I think that he really is at his best when he's playing these sort of quiet but deadly type characters, you know, these sort of slightly unhinged, you know, you don't know how they're gonna fuck you up type characters. He's got real good presence. Like, just as an actor, he's got really good presence. And I think that this film had the potential to be good. The idea was solid enough. They just really didn't execute well. The screenplay was shit. Unfortunately, the directing, whoever told Russell Crowe to try and make it like a drug trip, big mistake. Someone should have tapped him on the shoulder and been like, hey, fucking do it properly, mate. Don't go for this super strange, weird art house fucking thing and then halfway through change what your film is like completely. Don't do that. But nobody told him because, hey, it's Russell Crowe. The man is going to do what he wants. He's a living legend, so we let him do what he wants. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him here. That's why I'm going to give Poker Face a 3 out of 10. So tell me, guys, has anybody watched Poker Face? If you have, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about it. Yeah, this one was a little bit disappointing because the ad for it looked pretty good. It looked like it was going to be pretty thrilling, and I like these thrillers that are centered around, you know, like a game of some sorts, like a thriller that's centered around a high-stakes poker game between friends with lies and stuff that get uncovered throughout. That's interesting to me. Like, if that was the whole film, if that was like an hour and the dialogue was really good and it was simply just these guys trying to figure each other out while they're playing poker, that would be an interesting film. But the film is called Poker Face, and the poker is like 10 minutes long out of the entire film. So it's really kind of pointless. It shouldn't have been called Poker Face. It should have been called fucking something else, because the marketing, I guess they tried to get people to watch the film because they knew how bad it was. So they had to come up with something. They're like, hey, they play poker in this movie. Let's just call it Poker Face. And wow, people will watch it. And that is why I watched it, because I was like, this is a good idea. Let's have a thriller centered around a poker game. But unfortunately, that's not what it was. So that was the review, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. As always, click through to another video. We'll keep having some fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.